All right. Hey, it is Tuesday evening. Welcome back to the live. So tonight, I don't have a guest, and I decided I'm going to talk a little bit um, about a subject that I think is really, really important. Maybe even under what do you want to call it? Underutilized or uh, undervalued. That's probably the right way to put it by a lot of people. I'm sorry here. I need to plug in. It appears the outlet I was plugged into didn't have power. So it is networking. All right. I'm going to read a couple of definitions for you because I think that to frame what the dictionary calls networking, right? So Investopedia defines networking as an exchange of information and ideas with common professional or specific interest. Networking often begins with a single point of common ground. Networking by Oxford is defined as an action or process to develop professional or social contacts, as well as the linking of computers to operate, interact, or cooperate. And Wikipedia defines it as networking is defined as sharing of information or services between people, businesses, or groups. All right. And like the second one said, even machines or computer networks network, right? They connect to each other, they support each other. So as I get on the roll here, as you come in, give me a hashtag live if you would, please. And if you're watching this on replay, as always, give me a hashtag replay. That helps the algorithm see that people are out there. It's a beautiful thing. Helps me out. So there I've given you the textbook definitions for networking and why I wanted to bring out the point that networking is interconnecting, right? It's an interconnection, and that interconnection assists or helps with um, with accomplishing something. Okay, we as human beings we need to we're social creatures. Even introverts are social creatures, and we need to network, we need to interact with other people, and things that just about anybody can do just about anything on their own, but networking, cooperating, is a powerful, powerful tool that a lot of people, in my opinion, tend to overlook. I consider networking one of the most important um, tools in your personal toolbox. So you may be asking, okay, well, what's so important about networking? Think about anything that you've ever done in your life, and I'm going to kind of angle this towards employment, and primarily towards employment and towards um, running a business, starting a business, that sort of thing, right? So um, employing, using, cultivating your relationships with others makes both family and friends and even unknown people. So, networking primarily is centered around people that you already know or that you have some sort of familiarity with or something you have in common with, um, or someone you have something in common with, right? So, it's all about cultivating a positive relationship for everybody involved. Networking uh, is the well 70%. A study showed that 70% of people seeking employment found employment through networking, right? So what does that mean? That 70%, that's a huge number when you consider um, when you consider how many people may be out there looking for employment or looking for work, 70% finding employment through just one um, exercise or one of the tools in their toolbox. That's a big powerful tool, big powerful number. So what do I mean by networking? Networking means reaching out to, talking with, notifying, exploring what opportunities exist out there for you. For example, when I was active duty in the Navy, I had a little bit of a discussion with the detailer, and the detailer didn't want to give me a set of orders that I thought I should be able to get. So in the end, I said, "Hey, all right, man, that's it. I'm done. I'm gonna retire." And the detailer said, "Oh, that threat doesn't work." I was like, I'm not threatening. I'm telling you, I'm done." So I hung up the phone with him. I walked into the front office and let my commanding officer know, "Hey, sir, uh, I'm going to retire." It wasn't it wasn't 3 days later that word had spread, throughout the office and throughout some of the groups that I worked with, and I was getting business cards handed to me asking me, "Let me, send me your resume, send me your resume." Shoot, I didn't even have a resume at the time. I mean, I honestly decided, like, on the fly, on the phone with the detailer, I'm going to retire. And once I had told my wife, it was all over. There was no going back, right? so, so that was an example of basically unintentional networking. I put the word out, "Hey, I'm going to retire," and luckily enough people thought I was valuable enough that they were interested in bringing me on board. So there's a miniature example, one itty bitty example of how networking worked out for me. And so in that scenario, I now went from what am I going to do when I grow up to I had a whole table of job offers in front of me, and then I had to choose, which was a great position to be in, all through the network, right? So, another personal example, as I decided to transition out of Maryland to again rejoin my family in Kentucky, because I had moved my family to Kentucky. My son started college. I let the front office know. I had changed jobs a couple of times in Maryland. I let the front office know, "Hey, I'm going to go out to an interview out here." My deputy director was like, "Well, hey, do you know a guy named Lance out there?" I was like, "No." He said, "Well, here's his number. Give him a call." So I didn't even know this person. However, my network provided the contact. I gave him a call. I wound up interviewing for two different positions out there. One was the impromptu give this guy a call. The other was the one I actually was going out there for. And I wound up taking a position with the impromptu call, right? So it's just your network can and does work for you. You just have to employ it. Um, so I've used job examples here throughout this whole talk right now, but something that I wanted to um, I want to share also is that it doesn't just have to do with employment. I mean, it can be anything, right? It's networking is basically a form of teamwork, team working, right? So think about it. Anything that you do or can do, like build a garage, or make a doghouse, I don't know, dig a hole. Anything that you can probably think of doing can, one, be easier, and two, be faster if there's a team, right? If there's multiple people doing it. That is basically networking. You're using, and I shouldn't say the word use, because people get the misconnotation that I'm telling you to use people. You aren't using anybody, especially if in your networking process, you return as much, if not more, than you receive um, from the encounter, right? So if, for example, we had a small group in my neighborhood, in one of the places that I live, that we actually formed up a little a kind of a guys club, and the idea was that everybody had a project that they wanted to do, whether it was build a deck, put up a fence, plant trees. I mean, I'm trying to think of what some of the other, we've hung drywall. So out of the 5 or 6 of us, everybody had their pet project, and we would take turns that all the rest of us would go over to that guy's house, and we would do that project on a weekend and knock it out. So that person got their project done, and we all contributed to it. Then the next one was, the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. And over the course of the summer, we got everybody's projects done. Everybody got, quote unquote, free labor. Well, they donated their own time and labor towards everybody else's project to get a team to help them do their project. It was a beautiful thing. It's an awesome thing. So, it enhances personal growth. We all bonded over that. I mean, it was really pretty cool. Boosted productivity, right? We're all more productive. It networking increases the potential for innovation, and I say that because it's funny. I'm the type of guy that I pretty much always know how I think I want to do a project, or how I think I want to do a certain thing. And until I get about neck deep in it, and somebody says, "Hey, man, did you think about doing it like this?" It doesn't dawn on me, right? A lot of times I'll get like that tunnel vision of, this is how I want to do it. So innovation it can definitely come out of utilizing your network. So I think to kind of wrap it up, I didn't really have a lot, but I don't want to wrap it up yet. So let me tell you why this applies to, primarily this applies to, or I want to apply this towards folks that are looking to transition out of the military. One thing that you want to do is you want to cultivate and start cultivating your network early. And what I mean by early is a couple of years, at least a year, if not 2 years out from your separation date, you should start cultivating your network. And cultivating your network means reaching out and contacting the people that you know, maybe past commanding officers, um, senior ranking people that you worked for, people that worked for you, people that you met along the road, as in the contractors that supported you. Keep and refresh your network, because as you get ready to transition out, if you're seeking employment, those people can vouch for you. They can guide you. They can tell you, hey, here's an opportunity for you. If and you would be surprised at how many of them turn into entrepreneurs in one way or another, and may have an opportunity to offer you. So my little example too of team working, when you're starting a business, there's a lot of little things that need to get done. And there's, in my opinion, there's basically two ways of getting most of those things done. You pay somebody else to do it, which is the expensive way, or you do it yourself, which is uh, less expensive dollar sign wise, but maybe more expensive time, time and labor wise. Definitely more expensive labor wise. So why do I bring that up? I bring that up because if you have a network and you use your network, you connect with people. You can find resources or be enlightened to resources that you may not even know exist. So, an example: I'm on an entrepreneurial venture right now, and I'm going to share one thing here. Today, I decided I'm no longer going to work where I work. I'm going to quit my job as quickly as I can, and I'm going to use my network to find another employment opportunity. And I'm only looking for 2 years. So I am going to work 2 more years and or less until until my business builds up enough that I can actually walk away from working for somebody else. So there's the announcement of the day. And I invite you to follow along, because what I talked about with the 70% networking, finding employment, yada yada, I'm going to employ that. I'm gonna kind of like stopwatch time myself and see how long this takes for me to find another another position somewhere closer to home, in a much more satisfying environment. Anyway, back to what I was talking about for just a little bit earlier is on Saturday mornings, I in a group of other people formed up a group, and every Saturday morning we meet up for about 2 hours and we share with each other. This is like the mastermind networking opportunity for all of us to share knowledge with each other about things that we don't know. So how um, how much more could you ask for an hour or two of your time, but to have exposure to 5 or 6 other brains, right? 5 or 6 other people that are doing a similar thing as you, and the resources are incredible. So I invite you, one, to if you're not doing it today, spruce up your network. I don't care if you're active duty, retired, um, anything shy of being on your deathbed. You should constantly be refreshing your network. You should constantly be looking over the contacts in your phone and just shooting out a, hey man, how's it going? Or hey lady, haven't talked to you in a while, right? Refresh that network. Keep it alive. It's a great thing. And let me put it to you this way, because some people are like, oh dude, I'm not, I'm not socially adept, or I'm an introvert, or I don't want to bother anybody. Think about it this way: when you, and I know it happens to just about everybody, but when you receive like the random out of nowhere text from a buddy you haven't talked to in 5 years, 6 years, whatever, doesn't that make you feel good? I mean, it does to me. I've had guys reach out to me on Facebook and go, "Hey, man, Oscar, I haven't seen you in 10 years, whatever." And we pick up. I'm that kind of guy. We pick up where we left off, right? It's like it was yesterday. And I greatly enjoy that, and I know that these other folks greatly enjoy it too, right? The people that I reach out to. So anyway, your network is important to you, it can be and should be a very viable tool for you in anything you do, whether it's maybe you had a bad day, man, you need somebody to talk to, right? You got that network. I mean, I've talked to lots of people out of the group on Facebook calls just to let them vent. Maybe you need some advice, right? Maybe you need somebody to give you to bounce ideas off of. I drive, another networking event. I drive back and forth here. It's a 3-hour drive, and on that 3-hour drive, I spent about 2.5 hours of it talking to one of my best friends, networking and sharing ideas. So, okay, I think I've hammered that nail all the way down into the wood. The head is buried. Network, network, network. It's a great thing. There's nothing but good things that can come from it, and I'll actually slide this out of the way and see anybody got any questions or comments you want to share on the chat. I'll give it just a little bit here, see if anybody's got anything to say, and if not, then I will wrap it up for tonight. All right, I don't see anything coming across. So if you're watching this on replay, give me a hashtag replay. If you're live and you haven't already, I see a couple out here. I appreciate it. Thank you. Give me a hashtag live. And otherwise, have a great Tuesday night, and I'll talk to you next week. Cheers, everybody.